Welcome to another episode of the Grateful Gem Podcast. I'm the host, Jasmine Chanel, and today we're talking about being your own cheerleader. Stick around because gems are definitely about to be dropped, so get ready. Before I get into this episode, I need everyone listening to this podcast to follow the podcast on Instagram at The Grateful Gem Pod, and also follow your girl at Jasmine Chanel. Don't worry, I'll spell it out for you and put it in the episode notes. Okay, let's get started. Welcome, gems, back to another wonderful episode of the Grateful Gem Podcast. I am so excited to have you here listening to me. I just want to say thank you because I am forever grateful for each person that presses play on this episode and that listens to each and every one of them, that stays in the loop and let me know how they're feeling about the podcast. So I'm very thankful for you. I just want to say thank you because I am grateful. So today, So today, of course, we're talking about being your own cheerleader. So the title of this episode is, what are you waiting for? Being weighed down by success. And the reason I think that this is a good time to talk about this is because right now I'm actually practicing in my life of preparation. So I'm basically prepping my present for my future. So even though I don't see these things right now, or I'm not going to say I don't see them because I do. That's why I'm preparing for them. But even though I don't have these things, I'm preparing my present self for my future because I want to be able to be successful and set up for success. And I believe that God blesses what you prepare for. So I'm preparing. So as you know, my last fast, I did the Pray for Your Future Spouse challenge. So that was basically me prepping for my husband, prepping for that marriage and taking those steps and doing those things that I need to do in order to have a successful foundation that is consecrated on God and His kingdom. So I'm actually still doing a few things to prepare for that because I do one day want to be married and I do one day want to have a family, and one day, that don't mean it's going to be next year or the year after that, but it's going to be in the future. So I want to prepare myself each and every day in my present for my future. So even if it's a small thing, like, of course I'm not out here being crazy, like, oh, let me just go buy these wedding gowns and try on this, but I'm not doing that. But I'm talking about preparing myself not only financially but mentally. So I'm trying to get in the habit of just learning how to develop in where I'm at now, so that when I am at these places, I'm able to move forward successfully. And I think that right now is the perfect time to preach that being your own cheerleader is a must. If I look back over my life within the last, not even too long ago, but in the last couple months, I have been through plenty of things where I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in the goals that I was setting. I didn't believe in what God had showed me. And I definitely didn't believe the fact that I was qualified to do the things that God had shown me. And I disqualified a lot of things in myself, which is why now I'm just now sowing in and reaping the seeds of greatness and benefits that I've sown years and years ago, because I just wasn't ready to actually have the life that I have now. And it's just a matter of mindset. My mindset has grown so much this year alone because I have sat down and did so much reflecting and so much fasting and so much prayer and just generally in line of spending time with God, because no one knows you better than He does. He knows you better than you know yourself, and that is the God honest truth, because God revealed a whole bunch of things to me that I honestly didn't even know. He revealed things to me that I could never imagine, and I could never be honest with myself, even if I did know about them. And I'm so forever grateful for that. So right now, I just want to talk about, how to be your own cheerleader while you're going through whatever it is that you're going through. Whether you're up, whether you're down, whether you're mellow, whether you're like, I just cannot do this. Regardless of what kind of day you're having or what kind of year it has been for you, I want you to continue to try to be the best person to yourself that you can be. So being your own cheerleader. The first point I have is believe in yourself. I know y'all like, what? Girl, Listen, y'all, you have to believe in yourself, because let me tell you, when it all comes down to it, people are going to look at you crazy. Okay? People are going to look at you crazy, and they're not going to understand what it is that you're doing. And that's fine, because everybody doesn't need to know what you're doing. And that's another thing. You don't have to put everything out on the table. You need to do what's best for you. So sometimes you can give out some information, and sometimes you just need to hold back. So believe in yourself. So what I mean by believing in yourself, it's not just saying, oh, I'm going to do this, or speaking it into the future, or affirmations, but actually, truly, deep down in your spirit, in your soul, in your mind, in your flesh, believing in yourself. Not just feeding your mind this affirmation every day. Oh, I will be successful. I will. No, it does not work like that. And that's why in a couple of episodes ago, I talked about how I don't believe in affirmations. I don't want to get into that right now, but I don't believe in affirmations. I believe that we prepare ourselves and we speak things into existence, not only in a good way, but in bad ways. So even if you say, oh, I'm going to be successful, a job could come to you, and then you're like, oh, this is just the best job, and you stop there. But success doesn't stop there. So it's like, yeah, you're successful, but you're successful for the now. You're satisfied for now. Like, you need to have that mindset of, I'm successful beyond all means, no matter what it is. And some people get the definition of success mixed up with wealth and money, and that's not success. And I just want to be the one to tell you, you have to look in the deep inside of your heart and believe in whatever you're affirming or confirming and doing all that. Whatever you're doing and telling yourself that you're going to do, you have to actually 100% believe that. You cannot be walking around here talking about, girl, let's get up in this morning, let's pray, let's read the word, because at the end of the day, you can be fake with yourself, but you cannot be fake with God. So you can sit here all day long, pray to the Lord, telling him how you believe in what he gonna do, and you whatever, rah, rah, rah. But when the time comes, when something changes and your mindset changes, and then your prayer changes, but you still in the back of your mind saying, oh, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and you're just saying it because it's routine. And that's why I don't believe in affirmations, because even if you don't believe it, you will speak it because you know that you can speak it into existence, because power is in the tongue, and you just get in routine of speaking those things, so it comes natural, like, oh, I have to say this because this is what I do every morning, or this is what I say every night before I go to bed, or it just becomes comfortable and it becomes routine. So you have to learn how to step out of your boundaries, step out of your comfort zone, and step out of the affirmations and actually get into reality and feed your spirit, your soul, your mind, and your flesh to know that the things that you're speaking into existence are going to be life and not death over yourself and anyone else, and you're going to see those things through. Even if it takes you doing half a step, one step, or one small thing a day to get where you need to be, you have to believe in yourself. You have to count on yourself, because I'm telling you, when everyone else is saying, oh, you're crazy for doing this, or you're crazy for believing in that, or you're crazy to see things like that, but you know that you're not crazy, you know that you figured it out, God is showing you the way, and he's telling you to trust him. And it's going to be hard to walk down the path of faith, because we walk by sight. In reality, we do walk by sight and not faith, but we're supposed to walk by faith and not sight. So that being said, when in doubt, it's going to be hard to stand on something that people are saying is crazy. You're not going to be able to stand up to 99 people saying you're crazy versus the one you. You're not going to be able to do that if you really don't believe in yourself. So I really do believe that you need to believe in yourself, and not just fake believe, but believe, okay? You need to actually believe what it is that you're saying. So point 2 is believe in your goals. Believe in your goals. I know that a lot of people have a lot of plans, a lot of goals, and they write them down and they affirm them, and they make these, what are they called? Let me think about it. What are they called? I've made one. What are they? Okay, anyways, you know what? I'll come back to that. But anyways, you sit down, you make these goals, and you don't really take any steps to getting those goals accomplished. So believing in yourself is actually a goal. You need to get there. So if you're not believing in yourself, you need to make that a goal. Hey, I'm going to start believing in myself despite what other people think. And I'm not saying, like, if people have good reason or good judgment to what you're doing, be open, be receptive, and take what they're telling you. But you don't have to do what they're telling you to do if you don't see that fit. If God is telling you to do the total opposite of what somebody else is telling you to do, you need to listen to God. But if something that someone is telling you makes sense to what you're trying to do, and then in your heart you're like, let me pray about it, whatever, and you pray about it, and God is keep bringing that back to you, you need to just be open, be receptive. I'm not saying you have to do 100% of change your plans or do what they're telling you to do, but be receptive, because obviously there's something in what they're saying. But that just comes in believing in yourself. So when you pray, you need to ask God, like, hey, such and such told me this, but what should I do? Such and such says that, and what do I do? And let me tell y'all, going back to point 1, believing in yourself is key, because let me tell y'all what just happened to me literally like 10 minutes ago, and that's why I'm recording this podcast. Because if you know and you follow me or you subscribe to The Grateful Gem, I have not uploaded a podcast within the last week. I didn't record one last week. I started it, which is actually this episode. So maybe everything happens for it. No, it's not maybe everything. Everything does happen for a reason, because I feel like this is the perfect time to talk about this, because this is literally what I'm going through. And like I told y'all, I'm trying to be 100% real with you, and I want to literally talk about things that I have experienced in my own life or things that I'm going through. And this is something that I'm going through. So believing in myself. So I recorded everything except for what I'm recording right now, the actual episode. I got everything, like the intro and my notes and studies and taking over things that I want to talk about. I did all of that like 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, because I upload every week. Subscribe if you didn't have it already, okay? But I did all those things. I prepared myself, for the episode. And when I got ready to record the episode, I got a phone call. I don't remember who it was, but I got distracted and I didn't record the episode. And when I got off the phone, I never went to record it. And the days passed, and I was like, God, I need to record my episode. I haven't recorded it yet. And to be honest with you, it wasn't just about the distracted phone call that deterred me from recording the episode. Let me tell y'all what really stopped me from recording. It's number 1, believe in yourself. To be honest with you, all week I've been telling myself I need to record this episode, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, why am I recording this episode? Ain't nobody even listening. Don't nobody care about my testimony. Don't nobody want to hear about me talking all day about the God, the Bible. Don't nobody want to hear that. And I'm laughing, but it's not funny, because those were literally my thoughts. I had a long week, and I hadn't told anybody this how I was feeling, because I typically take on a lot of tasks, and like I told y'all in previous episodes, I have a lot of business plans that I want to do. I really have a lot of great ideas that I want to do, and I do believe that I'm going to be successful at each and every one of them. But I have to just take on what God is putting in front of me now. And I'm just like, I got kind of frustrated, because I'm like, God, you're telling me to talk to people. You're telling me to tell them my story, but nobody's really listening. Like, I got a good couple of listeners, few, people are listening and people are commenting and let me know, but I'm like, is that enough? Like, what? But I don't know, like, is it really worth me recording this? Like, do people even care what I have to say? Like, do they even believe me? Like, God, I don't know. Like, and that's where when I was talking about in the first point about qualifying and disqualifying, that also comes back to believing in yourself. You have to believe that whatever God is showing you and that whatever God is doing in your life, it's for a reason. You may not really understand what that reason is, but there is definitely a reason behind that. There's definitely a reason why God tells you to do things. And I procrastinated all week long and last week about recording this episode, because I'm like, nobody's really listening. Nobody cares about what I want to hear about. 90% or 80% of the world don't even care about God. Don't want to hear about God, how he's moving in my life. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. So that literally was the story of my life for the last 2 weeks, and that's why I didn't have an episode last week. So, mind you, today I'm sitting down playing my game, and I'm just like wasting time when I should be recording this episode, when I really should be recording too, because I didn't record it last week. So yeah, we're not gonna talk about that, but just keeping it real with y'all. So I'm sitting here and I'm recording this episode, and I get a text message. I still keep in contact with the young ladies that I did the Pray for Your Future Spouse challenge with, and we had been texting earlier about going to this Sarah Jakes revival that's coming soon. She's coming here to town. So we were talking about that earlier, but we kind of like drifted away from the conversation or whatever. So I'm sitting here playing the game, by my business, and my phone's going off. So I'm like, oh, let me look. And so not too long ago, she texted me. And so I looked in the group chat and I see the link for the podcast episode Counterfeits, and I'm like, okay, sis, putting them on the Grateful Gym. Thank you, girl. Thank you, Bree. I love you. But I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, she just shared it. So I went to read her message and I was just like, wow, like this is good. And it basically was just saying, I'm not going to read what she said because I didn't, get approval. And I'm pretty sure she probably wouldn't mind. But still, I'm not going to put her business out there or whatever. It's not really her personal business. But I didn't talk about putting this in the episode. So I'm not going to read what she exactly said. But basically, she texted me and was just like, she was so grateful for that episode because it was just wonderful. It was amazing. It really helped her through what she's going through. And I will say, she said, you have an amazing gift of storytelling. I am so happy to be no longer the same. And I was like, oh my God, like Jesus, God, in my Kodak voice when he was on that video, God, Jesus, send me my wife, man. But no, seriously, like that literally, let me tell y'all, when I read that, I was just like, wow, my heart was overwhelmed. I literally saved my game, turned my game off, and was like, I need to go record my podcast. Because there's people, even if it's 3 people, 2 people, 1 person, there's somebody that's listening. There's somebody that's waiting on literally what I have to say. And I don't know how what I have to say at that moment, or like I said, these are pre-recorded episodes that come out every week. They're recorded maybe in that same week, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes they recorded it 2 weeks behind, and I put them out a week later, and another episode comes out. So, like I said, I don't know who actually needs to hear what I'm saying. And that touched my heart because I'm like, God, I'm sitting here doubting myself, not believing in what you're telling me, what you're showing me, what you're asking me to do. You told me to just talk, and I'm not even doing that, and I can't even stay faithful with that. And I really was like, you know what, Jasmine, there's no more time to sit here and procrastinate. You need to get up. You need to record this podcast. So here I am. I'm recording this for y'all. And it's amazing because maybe, everything does. I'm not going to keep saying maybe. Everything does happen for a reason, because I was going to put this episode out last week. But obviously it needed to go out this week because, again, this is something that I'm going through. And I needed to have a story to tell you guys. Because, like I said, I don't want to sit here and just talk out the side of my neck. And you're like, oh, no, girl, what are you talking about? That is not even close to what you're talking about. But this is something that I'm currently going through. I'm learning how to be my own cheerleader. And the sad thing about it is, this is not my first time learning to be my own cheerleader. Literally. It's not. I've done this several times. I've doubted myself. I've doubted my dreams. I doubted my goals. I doubted the decisions that I made. And it all ended up turning out to be a great experience. But it took longer because, one, I didn't believe in myself. So I wanted to just jump back to that because I forgot to mention those things. But yes, you have to believe in yourself. It's very important that you believe in yourself at all times. No matter what the odds say, no matter how many people are against what you're doing, you need to believe that if God ordained you to do this, it's for you and he got your back. No matter how many people are against you, you have to trust in yourself first. You have to believe in yourself first. But, you can trust in God all you want to, but if you don't believe in yourself, after you believe in God and trust in God, there's no point of trying to do anything because you don't have the faith and the power to believe in yourself. So you need to believe in yourself. That's number 1. Going back to number 2, believe in your goals. Like I said, I was sitting there and I'm like, God, I'm just literally sitting here talking like nobody wants to hear me talk. Like, why am I doing this? Like, why do you have me doing this? Like, I really want to be doing other things right now. Like, let's talk about my other business plan. Let's talk about other business ideas I have. Like, can we work on those? Because this just ain't working. Ain't nobody really listening. People liking their comment, they're listening every now and then, but ain't nobody really here. So that's something that I'm working on. I have to believe in my goals. Whatever God told me to do this, so there's obviously a reason. And I'm only like a few episodes in. Like, I think this is my 6th episode. So it's like, Jasmine, what are you talking about? Like, people are listening. Even, I don't care if it's 2 people, they're listening to what you're saying. And I need you to do what I'm telling you to do. You need to do the work of my kingdom. You need to talk to my people and let them know how I'm working in your life. Because at the end of the day, they may be going through the same thing you're going through, and they're thinking that they can't get through it. And I need you to tell them that they can. So that's my goal. That's my purpose. My purpose is to just be a living testimony of God's word and how he's been so great in my life. And like I say in every podcast episode, I'm not perfect. I'm progressing. God is still working inside and outside of me. I still have ratchet moments. Okay. I am not perfect, but I am perfect in God's eyes. I'm perfect in his word, because whenever I lead myself astray, I know how to go back to God, and I know how to ask for forgiveness. And sometimes it takes me longer than other times because I'm too ashamed or I'm too beat up to even come back to God. Even when he told me to come back, I'm like, no, I ain't coming back. No, I'm tired of doing things your way. And it's funny now, but when I was going through it, it wasn't funny at all, because I had so much pride that I couldn't save myself if I went to. I was literally dying in the inside, and nobody knew it. Nobody. So believe in yourself, believe in your goals, because if God bring you to it, he will definitely get you through it, honey. Ow, that was a gem. You better pick it up and put it in your purse. Hey, pick it up and put it in your purse. Yes. If God bring you to it, he will bring you through it. Definitely, I'm a firm believer in that, because God has done so much, and I cannot sit here and take credit for any of the things and the places that God are taking me right now, or has taken me, going to take me, my future, nothing. Like, even this preparation for my future mindset, God brought that to me. Once I did this Pray for Your Future Spouse challenge, I prayed about some things, and that's what he told me to do. He said, whatever, of course you already know Matthew 7:22, I believe. And anything you ask in prayer in my name, I will reveal to you. You will have. So basically, anything that you pray for that's within my kingdom, that's within my realms, like if I'm just not finna be like, Lord, please let me just be a stripper up on this pole, stripping for dollars. God is not gonna send me to that, because that's not in his word. Even if I wanted to, I could do that. I mean, God gives us the option to choose. So if that's presented to me and I choose to do that, then okay. But I ain't finna be sitting here asking God to bless it, because I know he's not. And if I think that he is, I'm silly. But that's no shame to any strippers or anything like that. I respect each and every woman's man hustles, because sometimes in life we have to do what we have to do. And I'm just using that as an example to let you know that when you're doing something, when your plans outline, your goals outline the word of God, he will bless you with each and every goal that you have, each and every business that you have, as long as your business includes him. Okay, you need to be able to remember that he will bless you tremendously, and you just have to keep believing in your goals. So that's number 2, believe in your goals. So number 1 was believe in yourself. Number 2 was believe in your goals. Number 3, this is a good one. Don't let anyone or anything discourage you. So that's basically going back to number 2. Believe in your goals. And number 1, believe in yourself. Because if you believe in yourself and you believe in your goals, that will not allow you to let anyone or anything discourage you from what God has shown you, what God has put you on this earth to do. You're called to do so many things and tell so many things through your business for God, to use God in your business, in your daily life, to just bring people closer to him. And like I said, when you're outlining your business or your profession, whatever, even at your job. You don't have to have a business, but at your job, you're able to use testimonies, stories, and people may not even look at it like, oh, she just in here preaching about God. They just want to hear your story. And when you tell them that, when they ask you, well, how did you get through that? How did you make it through? And you say, well, God brought me through. And every time your story ends or begins with God brought me through, or God did this or God did that, you're living your purpose, because you're not even really doing much, but you're saving people and you don't even know it. You're saving lives day by day, because that lets that person go home and want to know, well, how can God do this for me the way he did it for you? How can I be used the way that God is using you? And that's something that I had to come back to, because I actually was listening to a podcast at work the other day about Courtney Sanders. Woo woo! Shout out to my girl Courtney. Me and her gonna link up one day. We gonna become friends, because I love me some Courtney. Okay, she is thebomb.com. Girl be on it with her podcast with me as well. So maybe one day we can do a podcast. I don't know. But yes, Courtney Sanders, she talked about living out your purpose, about how she was on a retreat with her husband, and this lady wanted to know, how does she know what her purpose is, and all those things. And basically she was saying the same thing. Your purpose is to bring more people to the kingdom, to let people know what God is doing in your life and how God can save you from yourself. And as long as your purpose, which is telling the word, seeking the kingdom, bringing the gospel to people, lines up, as long as your plans line up with that of God, he's going to bless you tremendously in that. And you have to believe that. Even if it's at your job, if it's at your school, if it's at your community, wherever you are, wherever you're asking God to bless, you need to make sure that it aligns with what God will bless. Don't just sit out here and be sending up crazy prayers, because you just might get what you're asking for. But I love that, because it was just like, even though I know what my purpose is and I know what I'm supposed to do, because I did a fast and I prayed about that, and I was like, God, what is my purpose? What do you want me to do? And the Lord was just like, I want you to talk. And I'm like, we'll talk about, what? What you want me to talk about? And he was just like, tell your story. What story? All of them. I want you to tell all your stories that include me. And that's really all of them. So I'm literally a living testimony of the things that God has brought me through. My life is and has been a mess. Since I've been here, I've been through so much, and I've caused a lot of things on my own. And I'm literally now just trying to get myself back on track. And of course, you already know that from the previous episodes that I did, just talking about it. And let me tell y'all, like I said all the time, it's not easy. It's not easy, it's not. It doesn't, just because you're a Christian or you believe in God and you're in the Word and you're praying every day, let me tell you, it doesn't make it easier. But let me tell you what it does do. It makes it 10 times harder, because you're going to be tempted. You're going to be tested. You're going to be used. And God is going to use you in so many ways. And you have to learn how to be better, how to respond to people, how to know and discern God's voice from the devil's voice, how to know when the devil is using people and God is using people. Because I'm telling y'all, it is real out here. It's a warfare between religion and this world, Christians and this world. Like, literally, there's a warfare, and people don't talk about it enough. They don't think about that we're living out here in a war. Like, forget going to Iraq. We're living in a war at our house right now. We're living in a war between being able to talk about and confess that we believe in God and what God has done for us. Some people will never do that, because they know of the consequences that comes with in certain places about seeking the kingdom and speaking God's word. And it's something that we have to get through, and we have to just continue to tell our stories and just tell and talk about how God has brought us through. So that's why it's really important to not be able to let anyone or anything discourage you from what God is leading you to. And at those times when you have people that is just nagging you about it, you just need to pray and just really ask God to reveal what's really going on. Because I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10 your friends aren't really gonna all the time be against you. But the devil will use those people too. And God will also just reveal to you some things that you never see. And I was also listening to Darius Daniels. If you don't listen to him, I do encourage you to listen to him. He's really good. I came across him not too long ago. And it's crazy because every person that I listen to, they're like all some kind of way know each other or friends. Like, I listen to Mike Ty. I love TC Nation. Woo woo, Transformation Church. Mike Ty and Darius Daniels, they're friends. I didn't know that, but I was looking at his Instagram not too long ago, and he was telling me about a sermon that he did, and he used his notes, and I was like, wow. And I'm just like, again, I'm just so grateful, because I'm like, the more I read into the word, the more I listen to God's word, and I'm listening, and I'm finding people, and it's just like, it's not like random people, it's people that know each other, and their messages are like similar, their Bible readings are similar, but I don't find out like later until like down the road that they know each other. I'm like, that is the power of the word, y'all. Like, the word is literally alive today. And if you read the Bible and you're like, oh, this is boring, let me tell you, you bored, okay? Because I literally, when I'm at work, I get a good laugh out of sermons. I get a good laugh out of Bible readings, because it's literally drama out. Like, literally, if y'all really sit down and read, like Ruth and Boaz, okay? That was just like one of them soap operas, like a romance love story. You know, I love it. It's like, oh, Boaz, Ruth, I need my Boaz. And then you have Abraham and his wife trying to get pregnant. God showed them that, you know, he was going to give them a baby, but she was like 90, I think, or 60. She was old. And they was just like, well, God told me that he's going to bless me with a child. He haven't done it yet. So she told him to have sex with the, the maid or the servant or whatever. And they had a son. And it was just like, what? Girl, you asked him to do what? Like, literally, like, y'all have to get into the word and really read it for what it is, because I'm telling you, that book will come alive and you'll be like, ooh, this sounds like some stuff that happened in my family. What? Let me reread that. But seriously though, like, reading the word and actually reading it to understand and study is awesome now. Like, I can say, when I first started reading the Bible, I was like, we're not doing this. But now, when I listen to sermons and I read the Bible, and like literally when I read stories, I find something, and you can read the same story over and over again, but each and every time you read it, something different sticks out, because that's just the power of God, okay? That is the power of God at hand. And I'm just excited, because the more you get in the word, the more you cannot let nobody tell you nothing, okay? So don't let anyone or anything discourage you, because God will not lead you astray. He will not lead you and have you out here looking crazy. And even if he does, if people look at you like, oh girl, you losing your mind, whatever, you let them do that. But when your success, or when whatever God is showing you comes to pass, they're going to be the ones on the other side looking crazy. Let me tell y'all, because they looked at Noah crazy when he built that ark. It hadn't rained in over 100 years. It hasn't rained. So imagine how Noah felt building this boat because God told him to. And everybody on the other side like, man, you crazy. You took your crazy medicine. Because you out here, you crazy, building a boat. Rain? What is rain? I ain't never seen no rain. Like, imagine how Noah felt. Like, literally, you have to remind yourself, tell yourself, I'm going to be Noah. I'm going to be that one. Because also, I was listening to a sermon by Mike Ty, and it was crazy because he was like, you know, he was doing a conference, and it was just him. You know how normally you go to a conference, and there's like multiple people that speak, or whatever, and he was just like, listen, there ain't nobody else coming, it's just me. And I was like, oh, he ain't even said nothing, that's good. Because that lets you know that what you're waiting for somebody else to do, and if it never got done, that means God is calling you to do it. So you need to be ready. You need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in your goals. And don't let anyone or anything distract you. And that brings me to the last point. You need to start. Hear me when I say this. Start and don't give up. Okay? Don't start it and finish it. I mean, look, that's nobody but the devil trying to turn my words around. What I was about to say was don't start and give up, or don't start and stop like me. Or it's gonna take time, you know. At the end of the day, if you stop, just don't quit. There's a difference between stopping and quitting. Stopping, like for me, like I said, I didn't post an episode last week, but I'm definitely going to get a episode out this week. So I took a break and I had to literally get myself together, and God wanted me to use what I did in this episode to bless somebody else, because I don't know what you guys are going through, but I pray that you hear exactly what I'm saying to you right now. And I'm not stopping completely. I'm not quitting. I stopped, but I'm back. So, and when you stop, don't take forever. You need to figure out what it is that you're going to do. Because, let me tell y'all what I didn't do. When I had those doubts, what I didn't do was go to the Lord and say, God, can you restore in me what you restored? Can you restore in me what you stored in me when I started? Because if you put those thoughts back in my head, I would have no doubt in my mind. I wouldn't have let a week go by. But let me tell y'all, when misery is down, when you're in your misery, you want company. So those things and those thoughts that you had about why you're not doing whatever, and those excuses that you have, you use those and you sit them with you. And you may sit other people with you, because misery loves company. So whatever you can use to keep you in your misery, you will use. But let me tell you something. Today, that stops. We're not doing that no more. We're not stopping and giving up on our goals. We're not stopping and giving up on ourselves. We're starting and continuing. We're going to finish. It doesn't matter how long it takes you, because there's no time in success. But don't ever give up. Don't ever start something and stop unless God tells you to. Because if God tells you to stop, you need to stop. Because that means that, or if he tells you to start over a different way, that means that he has something better for you. It don't matter if you did it for 20 years, 10 years. That's like Blessed and Bossed Up podcast by Tatum Tabia. She was doing a business with her friend, and God interrupted it. He told her, listen, I need you to do this by yourself, and I need you to change this, and I need you to change that, and I need you to change this. And it was hard for her because she was in a comfort zone. And it's like, what do you mean, God? You want me to do these things and I'm good where I'm at? Like, God will intervene you, okay? So you have to be able to be willing to say yes. Say yes to the success that he has, because let me tell you, the success that he has for you is going to be far greater than the success that you could create for yourself by yourself. Boom! Gym number 2. Yes, honey. Child. I'm bringing them gyms today. Woo, woo. But I'm just really excited. Not only for you guys, but for myself too, because I needed to hear this, because I really needed it. So I just want to say, I hope that this was helpful to each and every person listening to this. I pray that whatever you're doing, that you're your own cheerleader, because it's hard out here trying to do things the right way, trying to do things that God's telling you to do when everyone seems like they're against you. The last thing I want to say is, I want to talk about when I prepared to move to Atlanta. So a lot of people may not know, but I moved to Atlanta. I stayed in Atlanta for a year. A year, right? Yeah, I stayed in Atlanta for a year. Me and my best friend, we had went to Atlanta for the Burner Brothers hair show, because she does hair. And I went with her, to support her, whatever, and just to go to be with her. And we had a good time. And I literally fell in love with Atlanta. I was just like, oh my God, I was overwhelmed. And it was just so peaceful. Like, we didn't really do much, but we had a great time. And I really just felt at home. Originally, my family is from Folkestone, Georgia. So if you know Folkestone, Georgia, it's so different from Atlanta, Georgia. It's country, trailers out there, it's hot, bugs. No, not the same. But when we went to Atlanta, I had a really good time, and we really enjoyed ourselves, and I fell so in love with it. And I told her, I was like, I do not want to leave, girl. It is so peaceful here. I just don't want to leave. So when I got home, I prayed about it, and I was just like, I'm going to move to Atlanta. Like, if that's what God would have me to do. So I came home, and I did a fast. Y'all know I'm the fasting queen. But I did a fast. I prayed about it, and God told me yes. He gave me to go forth with with the move or whatever. And he revealed some things to me, and I was like, okay. And I worked 2 jobs to save up to move, and I tried to do the best that I could to get myself there. But let me tell you, the walk that it took to get to Atlanta was hard, because people really didn't support my decision to move. A lot of things, and I don't really think it was them intentionally. I just think it was more so of out of care. But it's hard to really continue with what God has shown you and what you're asking for when people don't believe. And that's why I'm here today to tell you, you have to believe in yourself. And what I did was I continued my journey, but I stopped talking about it. I didn't tell people what I was doing. I didn't tell them how I was going about it. And I'm actually, with my life, I'm still doing this. A lot of my family don't know that I've moved out again on my own. If they listen to this podcast episode, ta-da, there you go, I moved. Y'all, I'm a trip. But I'm so serious. A lot of people don't know I moved. They still think I stay with my best friend. She was so grateful. I'm so grateful to her. She let me stay with her when I moved back from Atlanta. But I've been in my apartment since July. Since July, I've been here and I'm loving it. And there's a few people in my family that know. Like 3 people. No, 4. There's 4 people in my family that knows. And the rest of my family does not know. And I actually don't intend on telling them. I just, whatever. I'm comfortable with that now because I'm here and I've got everything secured. So they'll find out when they find out. But my point was, once I started seeing how people reacted when I told them I was going to move to Atlanta, I just stopped talking about it. And let me tell you, I stopped talking about it. That didn't mean I stopped working on moving. Because let me tell y'all, I didn't move when I originally planned on moving, but I still moved that same year at the end of the year. So just because I wasn't talking about it don't mean I was not over here working on it. Let me tell y'all, I worked 2 full-time jobs. One overnight, 1 day shift. So literally all day. I worked 16-hour days every day to make this move happen. God blessed me tremendously where I was able to get savings in 2 months that I could never provide for on my own. He blessed me with a job at the nick of time that would give me the money I needed to move. And in the beginning, I was just like, God, why? I just need to stay here. Let me just start looking. I actually, in the beginning, when people started talking about they didn't believe what I was doing and this and that, blah, 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 I started looking for places in my city. And I was just like, I'm just going to stay here. I'm not going to move to Atlanta. Everybody's got something to say. I'm really not feeling it. But when you're secure in your plan, you're secure in what God is telling you, you put your trust first and you put in his trust first and your faith in him, you don't have to worry about what nobody else is telling you. And when you have these 4 steps, when you believe in yourself, when you believe in your goals, and when you don't let anyone or anything discourage you, and when you start and don't give up, let me tell you, the outcome is awesome. Yeah, I'm not in Atlanta anymore, but that was my choice to come back. I came back for my own reasons, and I'm not regretful that I'm here. I'm actually in love with my city more than I was before I left, and I love my family more than I did, sadly to say, now than when I left, because I know how to handle things now. I know how to live my life for the benefit of me and not for everyone else. And I actually, if God willing, I do plan on moving back to Atlanta maybe within the next 2 years. And that's something that I'm going to pray about. And that's going to be a part of my preparing for the future process. But I said all that to say this. Believe in yourself, okay? Do not be out here needing cheerleaders. You don't need, even if you have best friend, your best cousin, your favorite auntie, they don't need to believe in you, honey. You need to believe in yourself. Because when you are set so on what God has called you to do and God has shown you these things, forget what everybody else say. Okay? Take that from me. I'm telling you, it was hard. But when I got these 4 steps down, I equipped myself with a lot. And God blessed me. And like I said, I stopped talking about it, but I didn't stop moving towards that goal because that's what I wanted to do. And that's what God showed me he would provide for me. He told me, you continue to walk and I'll continue to guide you. When you make a wrong turn, I'll turn you around. I will provide every need. And let me tell y'all, he did. Like I told y'all in my last couple episodes, with the jobs that I got there and how he blessed me with those. And with my savings, literally, I have friends, or I have a friend that can tell you how that happened for me in literally like a month, not even a month. The money that I got, literally like a couple of weeks, with me building my credit, I was able to pay off some stuff for my credit. So my credit rate was, my credit score was great. It was awesome. And God made all that happen. So let me tell you, don't believe in nothing else but God and yourself. Put God first, then put everything else under it. So again, those 4 points was believe in yourself, believe in your goals, don't let anyone or anything discourage you, start and do not give up. Again, I hope this is really helpful. Of course, it's long-winded, but hey, I don't care because I wanted to get this word out. I love you guys. I hope you have a blessed week. I hope you let me know how you feel about this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Keep shining as the gems you are, okay? Bye.